Hey, sixth grade team. So I know that we have um, missed each other for quite a while for our PLC meeting. So I did want to just provide some quick updates because I don't want y'all to fall behind in what we're doing as an ELA department here at Ridge Road Middle School. So there are a few steps that I was able to take with seventh and eighth grade that I want to make sure I'm able to take with y'all as well. And this is going to shift what we are doing just slightly and not a different direction, but in a way that like enhances our students' experiences in our ELA classrooms. Y'all are such a solid team, so this is going to come very easy for you. But what we started with first was really unpacking the CMS core actions, which are three core actions that they provide math and ELA departments and teachers to kind of be used as a guide for what experience they're looking for students in classrooms. I own this. I should have rolled these out at the beginning of the school year, but I really wanted to make sure we understood the curriculum first. And so now we are returning to the core actions and just having a look at what we need to be doing for our students to make sure that they get the best experience possible. So CMS's core action 1 for ELA just focuses on high quality text. So we don't need to necessarily unpack core action 1 because we use a curriculum that provides those texts for us, and we use the curriculum with integrity here at Ridge. So I feel really solid about that happening in all of our classrooms. Core action 2 is related to making sure that our students have grade level appropriate and standard aligned work in front of them, so it's not too easy. And again, I feel really confident about that because we use the curriculum with integrity, and so those things are provided for us. So with that being said, we're going to really focus our time on core action 3 for the school year and moving forward, because one, it relates to this goal that we have around engagement in our ELA classrooms, and as a school, our school improvement goal related to engagement as well. So if you look at the top right here, core action 3 is written out. So it is to provide all students with the opportunity to engage in the lessons that we are facilitating for them. And then when you look at the core actions that CMS provides, there's a whole bunch of like indicators that would tell whoever walks through your room if this is happening or not. And so I don't want that to be overwhelming for us. So we selected one indicator, and that is right here in this lighter green box. The indicator that we are specifically going to focus on is this concept of the teacher keeping all students persevering with challenging tasks. Which means the teacher is the facilitator and the student is the lead learner. So the gist of that is really like we're doing or executing teacher actions that allow for students to do a majority of the work and the thinking while we just facilitate that learning opportunity for them. So we're not giving them answers. We're allowing them to discuss the text. We're allowing them to work in partners, those kinds of things. So this is going to be the core action that we work on. Initially, I was going to have you all unpack this and come up with what this would look like for the teacher and sound like for the teacher, as well as what it would look like for students and sound like for students. But we just don't have the time because we haven't been able to meet as a PLC. So I have this document here and I wanted to introduce you to it. We will come back to it once we are actually able to meet as a PLC. But I didn't want y'all to miss out on this learning. So again, to kind of stamp what I've said, we are going to be focused on core action 3 specifically from the 3 CMS core actions. And within that core action, we are focused on indicator A, which is teacher keeps all students persevering with challenging tasks. The teacher is the facilitator and student as the lead learner. So we're going to be working on in our classrooms providing those opportunities for our students. Okay. With that being said, there's another tool that I wanted us to be able to unpack this week as a PLC that is extremely helpful for making sure we internalize the lessons. I'm pretty sure Mr. Penrose in some of our practice PLCs previously has mentioned some of the questions or documents or resources that come from this specific L resource that we're going to look at. So I hope I'm not insulting y'all's intelligence by calling our attention to the lesson narratives that L provides us. And so I first want to just make sure y'all know how to get there. The lesson narratives are extremely helpful because they, let me make sure I'm still recording or on the right tab for y'all. The lesson narratives are extremely helpful because they allow us to kind of really take a deeper look at what the lesson calls for from the teacher. So in the lesson narrative, it essentially like highlights those teacher moves where you are facilitating the learning experience for students and students are the lead learners. So it really supports us as teachers being able to make sure that Core Action 3A is living and breathing in our room. Let me stop the webcam so that I can make sure that you all are on page with me. Give me 1 second. Okay, didn't seem to work, so we're just gonna go with it. All right, I'm hoping that you can see this page or this browser, which is ILC, and if not, I'm gonna voice over the directions on how to get to a lesson narrative. So first you would go to ILC from Clever, and then of course go to grade 6. Once you are in ILC grade 6, you would scroll down to module 2. Once you click module 2, we're going to focus on unit 1, lesson 15. And I know that might seem like a random lesson, but one, I know that y'all are, if you haven't already taught it, you're going to be teaching it. I know we have some absences this week. But also, when we come back from break, Ted Mueller and Ms. Timblin are going to be modeling lesson 15 for us so that we can see what it really looks like to use a lesson internalization tool or to use the lesson narrative versus just kind of use the slides. And again, nothing's wrong with using the slides. We just want to make sure we're highlighting those teacher moves where we can facilitate the learning for our students versus just kind of managing them. So once you are in unit 1, click daily lessons. And then you'll scroll down to where you see lesson 15. So when you pull up lesson 15 at the very top, there are 3 tabs. You'll see lesson, which are those slides, materials, and then about this lesson. You'll want to click on about this lesson. And then at the very top, it says to learn more about this lesson and English language learner considerations, read the lesson 15 narrative. So that's what I want you to click is the lesson narrative. Now, within this document, there's so much good information. It gives you the gist of the lesson at the front or up top. It gives you like the agenda, the standards, obviously, quick teaching notes. But as you scroll down, it also gives you really important information, such as how this lesson builds on previous work, which is something that would push students to really be the lead learner in the classroom, allowing them to reflect on how does this lesson or this learning target build on what we've already done. It also gives you pointers on how to support all students. And it has a section called Down the Road, which tells you how this lesson will be built upon in future units and lessons as well. So it's really helpful to take a look at this document. I put together an example of how to use the lesson narrative so that you aren't just kind of thrown into like having to look at it. So what I'm going to send you via email is this lesson preparation tool example. This internalization document came from the district, but if you're like me, when you get a district document, you're like it doesn't really work for me. So what I did was make it work for us. So I took away some of the columns. So what it simply focuses on is the section of the lesson, the time each section is or takes in the lesson, what the teacher is doing so that we can highlight core action 3, and then what the students are doing. So it's really simple. So what I've done is actually take the lesson narrative, take a look at what students should be doing for each section, and then typed it into this lesson preparation tool. So I want you to be able to take a look at it to see how this lesson narrative is really helpful and how to use this lesson preparation tool to help you unpack the lesson narrative to know what teacher moves are really critical in this lesson to be able to support our work with core action 3A. So with that being said, again, I'll send these links to you via email. I know this was a quick way to catch up. I'm sorry that this is how we have to catch up on the material right now, but I didn't want to just kind of leave y'all in the dust. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll send in my email, again, this material, but also like 1 or 2 questions that I'd like for y'all to follow up with. There are a few work days coming up, so I'll tell you when I need the responses by. And I am really looking forward to actually being able to meet with y'all when we come back from break. January 4th is when we will have the model. So we come back on January 3rd, which is a Tuesday, but we'll give you your first day back planning to kind of reacclimate, get things done that you need to get done. And then that following Wednesday, January 4th, we will meet and you will get to experience this model from Ted Mueller and Timblin. And I've sent an email to make sure that that time is protected for us. So